Okie doke. Good morning, everyone. This is a podcast called Knowledge Empowers. Here together with you is me, aka Kat, and then we have Barush,
Hello.
and then we have Collage.
Okay.
And today we're going to actually continue with the personal brand. And before we even touch that, those of us or those of you who are watching us on the YouTube, you can already see I have like almost the professional microphone because we realize we need to have a better microphone. So Collage is going to have his this afternoon, and Baruch is going to have hers in 2 weeks' time. So as you will be listening, actually, this podcast maybe in 4 weeks' time. On the 12th week or maybe even later, you will maybe hear us much, much better. So
Just maybe.
just maybe, yeah. As the
Yeah.
podcast grows, we'll get better. And hopefully one day we'll be able to record it together while we'll either be on a coffee or somewhere. So we'll see.
We should turn some ads, for our channel so that we can get money for those microphones and coffees and everything.
We'll see. So back to the personal brand. And maybe I should not cough into the microphone, but I'm sorry for that. Well, Baruch is the one who makes all the cuts and all that magic behind. So she will need to make sure either we don't repeat, or if we repeat, well, I'm sorry. You will simply
I
listen.
wouldn't call it magic yet.
At least for me, it is magic. So I'm sorry. So let's continue with the personal brand of what to work on yourself. And I'll start tackle the one where the way you want your brand to be versus how the others actually see us. And I start with one called, well, everything is about perception, right? So I see something else, but someone else, or I'm trying to project something, but someone else is different. So how about this one? So you want to be highly productive and innovative, but actually people see you as either rebellious or uncooperative or brown nosing. What would you guys suggest to people if actually they are really highly productive and innovative, but they also want that people will see them that way?
Well, what I do here is team building or some sort of a session. I would say that this is one of the primary team buildings here, where people discover their personalities and discover how their personalities impact the collaboration in between them. So in terms of like specific stories or examples, there are several out there which you can do. And what I've done with several teams, also inside Autorana is that, okay, so we started to talk who is extrovert and introvert. We've done the exercise, for example, how would you like to spend an ideal weekend or ideal night out? And people started to fill it out by drawing, describing, and you would see that, okay, so there are these people who get their energy from meeting other people, and there are people who get the energy from being them by themselves, reading a book and thinking. And then suddenly we started, okay, so how is this behavior actually visible in a daily life? And then you go like, yeah, okay, so we extroverts, we usually, when an idea comes, we start doing the idea. Like we are directly diving deep into that because we have the energy, we want to know all the inputs, and we start doing that. And then the introverts are like, okay, but we firstly need to think about it. We want to hear you out, think about it, and do it later on. And suddenly you have these two opposites seeing each other, and like, okay, so you are not like disregarding my idea. You just want to think about it. Yes. Aha. And you just want to do it because you seem it interesting and you have the energy and passion for that. Aha. Okay, I haven't saw that. I saw it that you are just the asshole there, and trying to be a provocative one. Oh, that's not like that. And suddenly you got this discussion where one party understands the other.
Mhm.
And this goes with all the other characteristics which might not be there or which might be there. But suddenly you've got, okay, so this person is totally with a free flow style and can discuss and automatically on all other topics, while the other person needs to have a precise structure. And suddenly you've got, okay, so now I understand why you are always late or to the last minute on the meetings with your work, because that's what you are, not because you are an asshole.
Mhm.
And this brings a lot of good communication and vibe into the team later on, how you get the understanding.
But what if you? What if there is no possibility to have that team building activity? What would be your suggestion to start work? Where they should start?
uh, from themselves.
Well, I can say that for me is when I collaborate with people, I'm trying to firstly be positive, be open, because what I'm aiming for is that you're going to have a good experience with me, and that you feel pleasant collaborating with me, and not have it as an um, not obligatory, but like me being a pressure on you. How to say it? To like I am burden. That's the word I'm looking. Burden. That I'm a burden for you. I'm literally trying to create the, let's say, atmosphere that if you collaborate with me, everyone knows, like both sides knows what's your action plan, what's your delivery. I'm gonna deliver it, and while I'm gonna deliver it, you're going to have a positive experience with me. So even in the future, you want to collaborate with me because it's very easy and easygoing, and you this morning my brain is not working. Basically you get that it's easier to work with people who goes, okay, it's possible to do it like this, and you've done it, compared to those that first 10 minutes you need to listen how it is not possible to be done and why it's not good to be done, and actually no one wants to do it. And when you keep hearing this, you're like, you know what, okay, forget it, I'll just do it myself, just so you would not have to listen to this crap. So that's my attitude towards the word. Like, I want you to have the positive experience when working with me, just so it would, just to show you it can be done much easier or with an easier flow. How about that? Like you've said, introvert work a bit differently because they are energized differently. But how about you wanna show others that you are composed and steady, but what if people actually see you as an robotic and indifferent? What would you change that you want them to see that you are composed and steady?
Well, for me, it's all about communication. Not sure about what Baruch wanted to say, but I would say it's all about the communication. Like, you don't know how you are perceived until you asked. You can be all the best what you want until you ask. You don't know what it is about. So for me, you can feel that you're composed, but unless you get the feedback, okay, so what you give me, what you tell me, I'm gonna implement it. And so tell me how you perceive me until you get that feedback. You're not moving. You're stuck at that point. So and they won't tell you unless they feel trusted, and like there is a trust between you that if they tell you, you're not gonna scream at them, yell at them, call them idiots, and send them away. So until the trust is there, until the basic relationship is there, and you don't ask for the feedback, you will never know. Until then, you can't do it any change basically.
Feedback, feedback, feedback. Okay, let's move to so-called the brand killers. So actually, this one is very easy, but people still do it and don't realize it kills their brand. And I'm gonna now talk a little bit about deadlines and talk about a little bit about etiquette. A few of etiquettes. I like that etiquette. The word etiquette. So one is calendar invite etiquette. Actually, back in 2002, when I worked for my very first corporation, we got an education that every calendar invite is supposed to have a title, what the calendar invite is about, and a body, what is expected, or what's going to be done on the call, or etc. And we were told that as soon as it doesn't hold anything, decline it right away. And so ever since then, I was 22, 23. Ever since then, I keep working like that. So all my calendar invites always have a title, always have the body, just so people can make a decision to accept, put it tentative or decline. And here is the first number one rule. If you do accept, make sure you attend. Because just because I accept doesn't mean I will attend. And I'll share with you one thing that happened to me. Oh gosh, I was so frustrated. No, I was so pissed. That's way better word. So I was organizing an event after working hours. It was about 6 p.m. And 17 people accepted that invite. And so I sit in my car, I use the petrol, I drove where I had to go, prepared the room and everything. Guess, guys, how many arrived? Give a guess. So Collage is saying 3, Baruch?
Half.
Half? No, it was exactly 3 people. Collage is happy.
What have I won? What have I won?
Big nothing. So I was really pissed because if I knew that only 3 people would come, I would simply cancel it. It's no point of me spending my petrol, my time. I would rather spend it with my husband than just go there for literally nothing. And so it's okay, guys, to decline the meeting, but not like 1 hour before, but make sure like 24 hours before. Decline it, mention the reason. You don't have to mention, but just also for the organizer or the person who is behind, it gives them option to either postpone it or cancel it, or they will see whether it's worth to have it. And if you do accept, then attend, right? And then the other one is, or before I go to the other one, Collage, do you put tentative on any of your calls?
Only to those optional, I would say.
Okay.
When I'm required, I either say I can do it or I can't do it, and I also propose a new time if there is a necessity for that.
Baruch, do you put tentative?
Sometimes I do, but very rarely. Like I prefer. Usually, I know when invitation comes if I want to attend or not. So, but it's only when I have conflicting meetings or something like that that I will put tentative and see like if something shifts in my calendar, something like that.
That's when I put tentative too. Like, it's optional for me, but I just want to be aware that that meeting or call or whatever it is happening. And in case where I have to be would be either postpone, cancel, then I can go to this one. Now, that was calendar invite. So let's say calls, the virtual stuff. And what about the meeting etiquettes, the one where we come physical? Again, suggestion is arrive 2 to 5 minutes earlier. So you can either seat yourself, you can do some icebreaker chit chat when you meet someone you haven't seen for a very long time, etc. Another suggestion is put your phones away. Don't even look at them. I actually keep saying to younger generation that if they have older generation, aka me in the room, just to simply state that the phone is my notebook, is where I put my notes. As soon as you say this out loud, then me as an older generation, I fix that, okay, they are not here that I'm boring them, but they are just making notes. Versus compared to me, I'm the old generation, and those who watch us on YouTube, they see I literally put down my lovely notebook and a paper for writing down the notes. So just literally say it out loud that the phone is for making notes. Don't do emails, really try to focus on what's happening. And here is a tricky question, guys. Imagine you're late 15 minutes on the meeting, and the meeting is just few people, so not a big class or anything like that. When you enter the room, would you apologize or would you go and sit down? College.
You said it's few people. What do you mean by few? Like three?
Five.
5.
3 to 5 people.
3 to 5 people. I would try not to disturb. So I would go silently into the room, and if somebody just watches them, I would just raise a hand. I wouldn't say anything out loud to not disturb.
Okay. Baruch?
I'm an introvert, so I would expect that no one sees me. So
visible.
I had different answer as well. Like, I'm not late.
You're just early, right?
I can barely.
For
I'm
the
not
other
late.
meeting.
No, I usually doesn't matter how many people are there. I just try to enter as quietly and as unnoticed as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I would try to go somewhere in the back and not disturb other people. Let them focus on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at the end, I would say to the hosts, "I'm sorry, I was late. I was on a different meeting." Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Rule number 1: if you are late, let's say really like 20 minutes, don't even go in. That way, no one even recognizes you are missing, or maybe they will say, "Okay, she's missing. Let's continue," and that's it. Rule number 2: if it's like a classroom or big meeting with 100 people, then go silently in, sit somewhere at the back, and go like a mouse. If it's a meeting where you are part of the meeting and let's say 5 people, 10 people, and you enter, you already disturb them by entering. So actually the whole focus is now on you. So, and even if you would just sit down and you would just go, let's say, sorry, and you sit down, before they are capable to concentrate on the speaker, they are still thinking, why is this person late? What's going on? So it's too late to say it at the end. And it's better when you enter the room and you just go, I'm really sorry for being late, and you explain whatever happened. It could be you were on emergency, you had to run with your kids to doctor, you were in a traffic. Just say whatever happened.
That sounds too apologetic.
But just explain, because it depends, of course, on the audience, right? So you would not kill your brand, and then sit down, because you would win over the empathy versus the anger that, who is this person that dares to be late on this meeting? What kind of respect that person is giving to me when I could be here in time? Of course, depends on the audience who is in that meeting. If it's someone that they know you and they know that you keep running from meeting to meeting, that's a different story. But if you would have, let's say, managers from abroad and they were able to be there in time, you don't want to kill your brand just because you are late because of something. I would just explain, you win over the empathy, and then they can all focus on that speaker. 30 seconds max. But they refocus immediately. And then you don't have to apologize separately to each of them afterwards. That's my suggestion. Because
to me, this is more about personal culture. I personally, if people are late for my meetings, I don't want to hear why.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because to me, it's business, right? So if you are late, you are late. It doesn't matter why. Maybe it's cold-hearted, but again, it's business.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's why I'm saying, rather don't come on that meeting, because then you didn't even focus on that person.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how that person, this way that person, the face of that person stacks in your head, and it already creates in you, I don't want to work with that person.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the situation can be like, if I don't come to this meeting, I will lose, let's say, an opportunity to influence something, right? So it's like choosing lesser evil.
Well, then start working on your time management.
Exactly.
Do you already have a time management? I think.
No, not yet.
Not yet. So we will talk about time management next time. But really, that's why we're saying, if you have a meeting, come to 3-5 minutes before. Be there. Don't do emails. Don't play on your phone. Right. Focus. And if you do come late, my suggestion is apologize. If it's not a classroom, 100 people. Hey, 100 people, like, well, extrovert like me, not a problem. But for an introvert, I can't even imagine. Hi, guys, I'm sorry I'm late. All the 100 pairs of eyes on you. Oh, no. Cool. Okay, then are there any brand killers that comes to your mind, guys, that people should be aware of them?
I think one is that actually you don't know what your brand should be. Like, you didn't decide yet. And you are trying to go in all kinds of directions, which is not necessarily bad. Like, sometimes that is what it takes. You want to find your brand, like, you need to know yourself, right? You cannot have a brand without knowing yourself, knowing your strengths, weaknesses. But my suggestion would be, like, find as soon as possible what you want to focus on, or what you want that brand to be. And one thing that I learned in the past that is kind of interesting, because it actually mostly applies to companies, not to a person as an employee. It's like, do your mission statement as a person, right? So this is usually done for companies or firms. It's not really for people, but I think it could be useful if you want to build your own brand, that you just do your mission statement. What I do, what I want to do, what I want to achieve, by which skills, for whom, in order to some outcome. So if you cannot define this, it means you don't know what your brand should be, or you don't have a clear picture of what that brand should be.
That's interesting. Or in other words, is don't treat your brand as a self-promotion, like a marketing, but learn your strengths and then exhibit those strengths, so people can have the experience with your strengths, rather than you doing a PR about it. I wanted to say one thing is Baruch remembers when Katka used to scream.
I do.
And it is possible to actually change, and the change needs to go from you, or within, or me, myself, and I. We sit together, all three of us. Sometimes you just need an input, and actually, it's something we talk with my hubby, that what influenced me, that I have changed so much, or I've changed my behavior, or etc. And I have to say, it was the company we all three worked together, where there were few leaders I've met that really inspired me and were very honest to me. But mainly they said, I see in you this and that. So I remember Frank saying to me, I see a potential leader in you, a manager. And I was really shocked. I'm like, what are you even saying? And really my first reply to him was, I don't have a university degree. And he looked at me and said, what that has to do with that? And that was the first, like, a slap in my face. Like, I thought it has everything to do with that. And that was the beginning of my journey of changing my own behavior. And he never, this is also very crucial, he never used my emotions against me. Whenever we had one-on-one, whenever we had preparation, he never used them against me. What he did say is, one day, if you will be the leader or you want to be the leader, this is a behavior you cannot show. It's disrespectful towards the people. And really put yourself in the shoes of, you would be the leader right now, the way you scream at yourself. So would you want that? No? There you go. And so he started really showing me lots of leadership solutions, possibilities, and that's when I start learning, studying, until the exams, and later became the manager. But that was my starting point. And it's really about, if you do want things to change around you, that change has to start within you. Otherwise, nothing will change. Any final words from you, or are we going to leave it here?
I think I just want to react to one thing you said, Katka, about like, what if people perceive you as brown nose and stuff that isn't true. I think if you do what you do long enough and you involve those people to whatever you do, like eventually they will see like what you're really after. And to me, that's also one way what I would do in your case. I mean, in this case that you mentioned, that I would really involve those people, like, come, please help me. I want to achieve this and you can benefit from it as well. Or I would do something for those people. Like, look, this is, I'm not trying to, I don't know, be my manager's pet or something. I'm trying to like improve the situation here overall, and this is what I can do for you, and I'm trying to like give you some benefits as well. It's not just about me, and it's almost never about me. I just want to show you what I can do. So yeah, that's me. But you know, everybody's different and everybody has different ways to grow their brand.
And that's it all, folks. That's it, folks. Cool. Speak to you next time, or next week, as we say.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Just so you know, this podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.